Alrighty guys, so I have to re-record this because the first attempt didn't work out. This is my first attempt at trying to reschedule, so if it showed premiering before, I'm sorry. I know, like, when people see that, they're like, dude, I do this anyway when I see a video premiering, like, just come out already. I just want to see this. Why? Anyways, so I'm gonna react to another Frank Tufano video because I know they're popular. And let's just get straight into it. I'm going to try and make this short, okay? Because I've done the reaction like 3 times and I'm getting tired of having to redo it.
Diet you can possibly... Hello, how are you guys today? We are going to do a meal protocol video, which is simply the least inflammatory diet...
You mean the most inflammatory diet, and I'll get to why.
...you can possibly follow. If you're in a very poor state of health, if your liver is literally failing...
If your liver is literally failing, the last thing you want to eat is fructose, glucose, and just carbs in general. Bunch of toxins and... Carbs, and toxic supplements. Holy crap.
This is what you can eat and how you should do it. This is like a one-on-one consultation with...
Yeah, because you're such a professional. You're a professional dietitian, aren't you? Oh, and by the way, if you hear some echoing, I got some new headphones and I'm still trying to work through all those settings.
Me, since I don't offer them anymore, you know, if people are asking me...
Good, you don't offer them anymore. Perfect, beautiful. Because you're not a professional, Fwankie.
Questions, how to fix their health, how to heal their health. This is step 1.
You don't know how to heal your health. You're not even healing your own self yet. You can't even handle work at your warehouse like you used to. Come on, don't go lying to us.
This is the very first thing you should be doing. So let me show you guys the prep first, and then we will discuss the meal. You only need 2 things. The leanest beef you have access to, and some organic...
No. Never lean meat. Holy crap. Never, ever, 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 ever. Don't ever eat lean meat. Always fatty. You know why? Gallbladder, gallbladder, gallbladder. Your gallbladder is there to digest the meat. I should know. When I first started keto, I had off and on gallbladder pain for the first couple of weeks. And the reason I knew that my gallbladder was finally able to digest was when my mom cooked me up some pork riblets, and they were so freaking fatty. Holy crud, they were messy. And I ate those things, not one bit of pain. So, yeah, you're wrong again there, Fwankie, because I eat very, very, very little in the way of pork, but I eat lots of high fat, and I still have perfect gallbladder functionality, so.
Organic white potatoes. Here we have the 93.7 lean blend from Frankie's Free Range Meat. We also
don't eat 97.3 and don't eat 95.5. Never. You're not going to get anything out of it.
So have 95.5 lean blends. I prefer using the 95.5, the top round. Digests really easily. It has a nice palatable flavor. So we're going to cook up 1 pound and then divvy it up throughout today and tomorrow. And for the potatoes, the only thing to keep in mind is you want either russet or Idaho potatoes. You have to make sure that the flesh of the potato is white. Obviously, when you peel the flesh of the potato, you want to see that it's white. You don't want Yukon Gold. You don't want sweet potato. You don't want...
If you're paleo, sweet potato is probably the better option. Less oxalate. Although, I still don't recommend potatoes. Stop eating potatoes because of where they're grown and all that stuff. I'm not going to get into it, and I'm just going to change that setting on my headphones because it sounds awful. Sounds awful. Anyways, so back to what I was saying. Stop eating potatoes. Stop eating all these carbs just because you think you have to. You don't have to, and you really shouldn't, actually.
Any of those has to be a white, russet, or Idaho potato. And this is the main hurdle that some people have to get past depending on where they live, their access to potatoes. Red potatoes are also okay because they do have a white flesh, but these are ideal. So for the prep, we're going to peel the potatoes, cut them up. As you guys can see, this beef is very, very, very lean. It is a little bit more...
Lean! Woo! Because it's not the fats, it's not the carbs that damages the liver and the pancreas and all that crap, right? Woo! Woo! Low fat all the way. Let's clog up that gallbladder. Woo!
Expensive though. This is I think around $12 or $13 a pound on Frankie's Free Range Meat. The 93.7 is a bit cheaper, and if you want to go even lower price,
93.7. It's not like 93.7 and 95.5 are that much different. Come on, people. Realistically, you should be eating 75-25 at the very, very least. Very, very least. You need that fat. Come on. Oh, I think I've been eating 85-15. Horrible, 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 horrible. You feel like you took a whole bunch of edibles. You have no energy. If you're someone my size, you have no energy. I literally eat a pound of butter in like a month.
85-15 is kind of acceptable, but mainly if you're not in like a really, really deprived state of health, you know, then
No, you should be doing it the opposite way. And even then, even when you're healthy, you should be always eating high fat all the time. High fat all the time, all the time, all the time. That is how you damage your hormones. A lot of people come to all the carnivore keto spaces like, I damaged my thyroid. I have to eat potatoes and a bunch of carbs now because of it. No, that's not why that's not what you have to do. Why you damaged your hormones just overall is because you ate no fat. Eat your fat. Good freaking God. Ugh.
it would be okay to go a little fattier. So we have our white potatoes peeled and chopped up.
You always need to eat fattier. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a sick 20 years of vegan.
Up here, simmer.
Don't care.
Away in some glass bottled mineral water with a little bit of land salt. You don't want ocean salt because it tends to be polluted. We also put a tiny bit of salt in the meat. This is the least inflammatory cooking method because it's hydrating the potatoes.
No. And he later says that the potatoes are actually in the skin. Worse, way worse. Holy crap! And the potatoes are leaching the poisons into the water.
Now, if you were to bake these, they're going to be a little dry. You might dehydrate yourself. And if you were to fry these,
you're going to dehydrate yourself anyway because you don't need any fat.
in oil, they're going to be dry and you're going to have a high fat content, which is not so great when starting off. Yeah, you could do those things down the road, even make some mashed potatoes with like a little bit of coconut oil, but initially for a few...
You need butter, ghee, or tallow. I'm not really for lard and chicken fat so much because of the omega-6s. Tallow, butter, and ghee all the way, guys.
Few weeks for a month or two until you're really feeling better. You don't want to add extra fat and you don't want to dehydrate the food in any way.
You're gonna feel way worse. Guys, stop with this. Ugh. Stop with the shite.
Which is also why we have this meat on a medium to low heat, and we don't want to get any caramelization on this. We want to preserve.
You're not gonna get caramelization, trust me. You're only making 95.5, so yeah, you're not gonna get any kind of caramelization. Sorry.
Preserve the proteins, keep as much moisture in the meat as possible, and make sure it's easy to digest. And you could leave a little bit of...
You're not going to be able to digest 95.5 meat. You know why? Because I know I ate very, very little fat in my meat for a long time. My bowels, they hurt just thinking about it. I'm sorry. Not sorry.
Red, a little bit of pink in the meat.
I wouldn't. From his stuff, don't always cook his stuff. I would. Don't ever eat that stuff raw. Are you kidding me? But
you don't necessarily want it to be fully cooked through all the way. And ground beef is the better choice because...
Ground beef, you definitely don't want to leave the pink in there. I wouldn't recommend it. I really wouldn't recommend it, especially if it's coming from him.
Because of its palatability, you will feel full a lot faster on...
No, you won't. No, you won't. If you don't have any fat, you won't feel full at all. I never feel full. If I eat no fat meat, I have no satiety. I could literally eat until I feel like I'm about to puke.
A quarter pound of ground beef, you might be stuffed, but if it was
especially if it's roast beef is the worst for that. I eat roast beef. Yeah, you bet I'm gonna eat enough till I'm like really uncomfortable.
1 pound steak, you might be able to swallow the whole thing before your body realizes it has enough food. And I would say 1.5 to 2 potatoes per meal.
How would you be able to eat the steak? You can't even chew. Well, I guess if you don't cook it all the way, but with his stuff, I would recommend you cook it all the way.
And a quarter to a third of a pound of meat. So if you want to cook everything...
The reason I say that is because you really don't know where he's actually getting it from, and like you don't know what they're fed, right? They could be fed the toxic types of vitamins too. You don't know, right?
Everything.
And arsenic laden, Roundup Ready laden grain. Like they're probably fed the cheapest junk diet. These animals. I'm not buying the fact they're organic. Maybe they are, but I don't know. From him, they've been handled by him first, so yeah. No.
In advance, that's easy. You could do that too, and then divvy it up between meals, or you could just cook it every single time you're going to eat. A little fresher, a little more enjoyable. Now you don't necessarily have to chop these potatoes up and use a pan like this. This is just the fastest and quickest way to do this. Of course, you could just boil potatoes the traditional way and then even just take them out of the skin. That might be the least time consuming. So as you guys could see,
yeah, don't boil them in the skin, you guys. And yeah, gross. The skins carry the poisons. Don't. Just the skins carry the most of the poisons. Stop. Don't boil in skin. Blech.
It's a small amount of moisture in this plate, not nearly as much as when you normally sear or cook ground beef a lot. And usually when a knife goes through the potatoes and they're tender, they're pretty much finished. But I'm gonna taste one. So that's the prep, guys. We have our simmered beef and simmered potatoes. Now we're gonna portion it into one meal. Now we did a very similar video a few months ago where a lot of this is probably going to sound familiar. However, we omitted the rice and beans in favor of white potatoes because of the arsenic content in rice as well.
It's funny. He doesn't admit that he has gut problems when he omits these things. Crazy. I wonder why suddenly he's against... Why did he start eating them in the first place? Why did you start eating rice and beans in the first place, Fwankie? I'm sure you already knew that. Come on.
Well, as the aluminum content and some other potential pollutants in the beans, although that's not as much of an issue. So we have the food here, and keep in mind the portion is going to be important. We'll discuss that first. We have some masticum, and then we have some water kefir grains, some more glass bottle mineral water, and then we have a variety of supplements here, and we'll touch on that last. So depending on what
you wouldn't need all these supplements, by the way, you guys, if you just ate mostly meat and limited and add in liver on occasion too. Like, I eat such little amounts of liver that I probably should be eating it a lot more often. So eat liver, man. Eat liver. Eat some liver. Just a little bit each day is not going to hurt you. Maybe an ounce a day. Just even an ounce a day of liver. Don't be afraid of liver. And I'm going to go back just a little bit because I was talking over him.
A variety of supplements here, and we'll touch on that last. So depending on what your health issues are will dictate how much you want to eat. It could be half of this. It could be a quarter of this. It could be more.
You need to eat way more. You need to eat until you are either satisfied to stuffed, and it needs to be mostly meat, and it needs to be mostly fatty meat. I don't care what anyone else says, okay? You could be 500 pounds. The fat is not going to do anything to you unless you have no gallbladder. If you have no gallbladder, take some bile salts, people. Go get some bile salts. You had your gallbladder removed because you were eating a diet that you were told was the best diet to eat. You were brainwashed. So that's why your gallbladder ended up having to be removed. So you have to go and get bile salts. You don't have your gallbladder anymore, so that's where a supplement comes in handy. A daily supplement, that is. Take the bile salts, people.
Want to give your body as little food as it needs to maintain.
No! Do not ever give your body as little food as possible. Give it as most food as possible because you are malnourished. You are malnourished. If you are sick, that means you are malnourished in some way. Oh, and that's why Daphne, I remember a long time ago, somebody put reacted to a video of hers she did a long time ago mentioning how AIDS is vitamin deficiency, although early signs of aging could also be vitamin deficiencies and protein deficiencies as well. She touched on the fact that AIDS is a vitamin deficiency. Now, Daphne is actually a subscriber now, and thank you. I need to just acknowledge that. So, yes, I believe that partially anyway, AIDS is worsened anyway by vitamin deficiencies. When you eat properly, you can, well, HIV anyway, I don't know about AIDS, but you can improve your symptoms just by improving your nutritional deficiencies to the point you're not deficient anymore. Okay? If I find that I gotta stop eating the yogurts and stuff because I find that my asthma is worse. I did have asthma as a kid, and I do still have lung issues now. So yeah, I think it's better when I cut the yogurt out anyway. I think the unpasteurized cheese is fine for me, but I cannot eat the yogurt anymore. I gotta stop.
Maintain its health. If you overeat, then the candida could overgrow, the fungal infections.
The reason you're getting candida and overgrowth of other bacteria and fungi that are normal in certain amounts but not normal in high amounts, the reason you're getting that, Fwankie, is because you are eating too many Whoops. And taking way too many crap loads of supplements. Sorry.
Could get worse. SIBO. Your digestive issues can get worse with too much food. That's probably the biggest
Too much carbs. You mean too much fiber, too much carbs.
thing that people.
Yep, and too much mastic gum. By the way, I looked at mastic gum. It's awful. I would not recommend it. It lowers your cholesterol. Fwankie, if you already eat such little cholesterol, you don't want to bring your cholesterol down to zero. Your brain is suffering. No wonder people don't want you as a candidate for dating. You have no brain cells left to form a thought. Basically, you're probably a nervous Nelly, I'm sure, in person as well.
Overlook is that if you overeat, it will be very difficult to heal your gut, especially when you're incorporating probiotics, because then it's easy for the bad yeast, the bacteria, to maintain its hold in your stomach. So whether you're doing a smaller amount or a larger amount, it's safe to start with, I would say, a bit less than this, 2 to 3 times per day, and then based on your hunger and satiation and how you're sleeping, you can change that. What you probably will need with every meal to start is maybe a half teaspoon of mastic gum.
Don't ever take this stuff. He almost puked on camera. I heard it in his voice. He almost puked on camera because he said he was nauseated from taking the mastic gum. I reacted to that video, by the way. He sounded like he was about to puke. It literally said, so I just took my mastic gum and I feel kind of nauseated. I'm kind of exaggerating it, but yeah, you could hear it. It sounded like he was about to puke.
This keeps the food moving through the stomach. It's not going to sit there. It's not going to stay by your liver, by the entrance of the small intestine.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. If you don't eat enough fat, you have to, or if it does make your gut move everything through, it's because you literally took it in such excess that your gut can't even pass it through anymore. So it's just zooming through, and now you're just yeah.
And just kind of
you're gonna have diarrhea. Yay, fun.
Get stuck. This is what the mastic gum's for. Keep the gut motility normal in
give yourself diarrhea.
A person's hypothetical digestive system where it's not functioning normally. And
hypothetical what?
Normal in a person's hypothetical digestive system where it's not functioning normally.
It would be functioning normally if you ate fat, didn't destroy your body with carbs, or limited your amount of carbs and fiber, and ate meat, preferably beef, because of the omega-6 content in other meats.
And what you might need to start initially to even eat carbohydrates, or what you can include further down the line, is water kefir grains as well.
No, never drink that stuff. Never, 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 never. I can feel a lot of gas just thinking about drinking that water kefir. I've had real kefir before, but this, bleh.
As water kefir. I know there's many problems with dairy that we've discussed in the past. This is available on Frankie'sRangeFoods.com, or you can make it yourself. But it's basically a diverse strain of probiotics that...
No. If you really need probiotics that badly, get one from the health food store that's refrigerated. If you really, 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 really need them.
Replicates the gut bacteria of a naturally healthy person. I had to drink this stuff every day for 6 months straight.
No, you don't. 6 months straight? You've been drinking it for a year.
Now, I only have it a few times a week, but I still do need it. There will be a point where you won't have to drink it, but for some reason, if you're not able to eat...
I don't believe you. Every what I eat in a day has you drinking that.
Carbohydrates, the issue is
almost
likely that you do not have a properly made and fermented water kefir, and then the water kefir grains add a slightly more diverse range, although I have healed my gut on just the water kefir.
No, you haven't. You have not. You have not healed your gut at all. If you did, your brain would be functioning.
Adding a teaspoon of water kefir grains per meal is like that extra oomph. So what we're basically doing is we're giving our body the very basic nutritional needs with animal protein in the beef, a small amount of fat and cholesterol. Because
no, you need only fat and cholesterol. Fat and cholesterol and your proteins. You need only meat for that. Sorry.
Regardless of how lean the beef is, even if it's 99.
Don't eat 99. Don't ever eat 99%. What are you talking about? You're not going to get anything out of that. Hello? Fwankie? Hello? Oh my lord.
% lean, there's still saturated fat and cholesterol in it. That's adequate. Of course, the amino acids. And then the potatoes are the most balanced food source, to my knowledge, of minerals, starches, fiber, everything you need to feed the gut bacteria, to maintain gut motility, to be healthy. The only thing is, you might need macronutrient digestive enzymes.
It's rare anyone needs that. If you were 20-year vegan, then I can see that you needing the digestive enzymes. This is what I mean. If he wasn't eating so much carbohydrate and such little, if he was eating a lot more fats and proteins and meat, and especially organ meat, lots and lots of fat. I can't stress that enough. If he was eating a lot more fat, he wouldn't need to he wouldn't need to add these macronutrient enzymes in.
If your liver is really messed up, if your pancreas is messed up, you're not going to be producing the enzymes. And these can also be used interchangeably almost with water kefir. The thing is that there's
sugar. Keep in mind, guys, you got to remember, sugar takes away a bunch of nutrients. And he does something else too that's really stupid.
Protein and fat digesting enzymes in this, whereas the water kefir will only help with carbohydrates. So using these in combination or one or the other, you can kind of figure out. I'm currently doing 1 or 2 of these capsules per meal, and then maybe 1 to 2 cups of water kefir per meal. And that seems to be enough to replicate the digestive system of a person that's functioning, that is producing enzymes, that does have the right strains of probiotic gut bacteria. So don't act like you're adding extra or doing things unnatural. This is as close as possible as you can get to a natural digestive system. The other supplements, all the deficiencies, all that stuff, might have to be addressed quickly. It might not have to be. You could have a severe B vitamin deficiency where
eat liver for this.
You're going to want to take like our natural B complex as well as a few individualized B vitamins. You might need some vitamin C or magnesium. You can need some
eat liver for all that.
Selenium and molybdenum. Hair mineral analysis will
get electrolytes for that. Electrolyte powders, like Keto Chow has one.
Dictate that,
or even just a proper formulated sea, like a old sea, like ancient sea salt. Get one of those.
Usually the B vitamins are the safe thing to start with. I would say minimum 2 or 3 weeks into this. But what you also might need initially is activated charcoal. So
don't you dare take activated charcoal, guys. Do not dare. You know what they give you activated charcoal for? When you take in something that is extremely poisonous. Poisonous. That is what you're given activated charcoal for. This dude is out of his mind. Do not take this ever.
If you're not sleeping, if you're getting bad,
unless you OD'd on on heroin or something.
Bad headaches, you might need it every meal. 1 capsule per meal at the end of the meal, or
yeah, deplete yourself even more there, buddy.
What I do now is before bed, I'll have 2 or 3 capsules with some masticum with the meal.
Woo! Yeah, love those deficiencies. Woo!
And then an hour later, I'll have a little more masticum and of course,
Blech.
Drinking plenty of high quality glass bottled mineral water throughout this. I think I forgot, let me just touch a little bit more on the specific volume of food to be eating. If you're doing okay, you want to go with your natural appetite. Eat as much as you're comfortable with.
No, you always have to eat as much as you're comfortable with. So that includes high-fat meat. High-fat meat. Can't stress it enough. Holy crap.
And that's perfectly fine with this because the palatability of this lean beef and potatoes, you're not going to
Guess what? When I first started keto, 2 weeks into it, I wasn't fully hungry. But then after those 2 weeks, I was like starving. There was one night I literally ate 2 servings. 2 servings of this ground beef hamburger veggie mix that my mom used to make when I lived with my mom. I ate 2 servings of it. It's basically some spices, onions, like chopped veggies. Basically, there are onions in it. Garlic gives it that kick. 2 servings of that. Guess what? I haven't gained and I haven't lost. There you go.
It's basically impossible to do that. There are some specific rare circumstances where your liver is really, really messed up, where you might have to eat like a small amount, where you want to start with like a lower amount. And
that's not true at all. You're never going to fix anything if you eat small amounts like that. You're never going to. Never. If you're really having trouble digesting food, get bone broth, drink some bone broth, and eat like scrambled eggs or something. I don't know. Don't listen to this dude. High fat.
And actually measure it out. Okay, I'm having 50 grams of beef and 100 grams of potatoes, and then maybe go up from there every meal and see how you react to it and find.
That's not enough meat, by the way, at all. It's not enough meat. You should be eating way more meat than plants. Way more.
The amount that's perfect for you. So the measuring is important in the rare cases of severe health issues, but most people are not.
Nope. If anything, you should be measuring your plant intake. Everything else, you can eat to your heart's content.
I'm gonna have to do that. Now, the main thing I wish I knew from the start of my journey was definitely the water kefir. That has helped the most, but also don't overdo the protein. You know, you're better safe than sorry by keeping the amount to a minimum. Because even though
No, you need protein. All the protein. All the protein. If it's coming from your animal foods, it's not going to do anything. Don't listen to this. Stop listening to this. Guys, stop listening to him.
protein is healthy, it is very hard on the digestive system, and it is very hard on the
If you don't eat fat, frig.
liver. So less is better. If you're craving protein, by all means, you can have it, but you're probably not going to be craving protein. So
Yes, you are. You are. If you're like craving that salty, savory taste, you're craving protein.
you know, the things that can be done down the road, you guys have seen my more recent day of eatings. I definitely have cheat meals. I can go to restaurants now.
Yeah, not impressed. Not impressed.
I have a lot more variety in my diet. You know, those things I mentioned earlier, you could add some oil to the potatoes. You could
Aha! You just admitted it without actually admitting it. You didn't go off the carnivore diet because of your liver and your iron and all that crap. No, you went off your carnivore diet because you were told either that or you finally felt like, oh, I don't have enough variety and I'm so bored. I just want to eat properly again. So that's what you did. That's why you did it.
fry the potatoes. You could add collagen broth and mash it and make mashed potatoes. But this is the very, very basic thing to start with. You know, you could have caramelized steaks. You can have a little bit fattier meat. I guess
You always need fattier meat. You need lots of fat. All the most fat you can possibly get. I can't stress it enough, you guys.
to try this right before.
And if you can't get anything but lean meat, pour butter all over it.
This top round blend is the same
Or tallow, or ghee, or something.
cut that's used in roast beef. So it's very palatable, decent amount of flavor, but it's plain, you know, it's plain. My version of this meal now, I would take like a big steel bowl, mix this all together, put a little bit of collagen broth in it, and then just have it almost like a soup or something a little more moist. We said this earlier too. Make sure you're using ground beef to start. One, because it's, you know, easily digestible.
Not necessarily, not if you're eating low fat, because I get pain. I realized that part of the problem, I think, was the blend of ground beef. It was like very, very little fat. There was fat, but it was such a small amount that I literally had pain all the time. Like, my gut would literally like seize up and I wouldn't be able to poop. I poop now 3 to 4 days, I think, at most. And yes, that's normal for carnivores. Don't go telling me, oh, your colon's really backed up, blah, 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 blah. Shut up.
As it's already ground up, and two, the palatability is drastically different than the whole cuts of meat. We might try this for like a month straight, just to show you guys. I might do the meat and potatoes every single meal for like 30 days. That's something I wanted to do. And we went over a few
Not like you haven't been doing anything similar for the past year.
things, but just to
Few years.
simplify it, eat this, have a teaspoon of masticum, drink plenty of water.
Masticum! Supplements, pills, and carbs! Woo!
If you can't sleep, have some charcoal before bed. And if you're
Charcoal! Deprive my body of nutrients! Woo!
not digesting the food, if your stomach's really messed up, you might need some digestive enzymes and some water kefir for probiotics.
Supplements, pills, carbs! Dude, you are a pill addict. You are a pill addict. Admit it.
Thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully this helps some of you guys out. Chances are,
And
if you
that's
guys
all
send me a DM on Instagram
that
or you
I'm
email
going to
me,
react to. I can't with this. I can't with this. I can't. Fwankie. Wow. I'm hungry. I'm going to go eat some frickin' hamburger. Yep. I'm going to go eat some ground beef. Ground beef. Words. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.